So my GoPro died while I was in there, but they had a wall of games. The problem, like usual, is that most of them were either in really bad shape or were not what they were supposed to be, or the disc was missing. However, I still came up with a deal and didn't have to haggle, which was nice. It's been over a year, but we're finally back at AZ Thrift. They used to carry a ton of video games. Do they still? And can we score? Let's find out. So my GoPro died while I was in there, but they had a wall of games. The problem, like usual, is that most of them were either in really bad shape or were not what they were supposed to be, or the disc was missing. However, I still came up with a deal and didn't have to haggle, which was nice. So I've got a total of 8 games, paid $5 a piece, which is not terrible. Some of these I don't think are worth $5, but some of them definitely are. And I actually got a nice little throw in, and that was 3 empty cases. Now, if these games were in the cases, I'd be much happier, but alas, they were not. But we still got some good stuff. So I have an empty case for Wii Party. This one would have been awesome. I also got an empty case for Left 4 Dead 2. And one that I actually needed, because I have the game, but I don't have the case, and now I have a complete copy of it, is Midnight Club Los Angeles. So 3 empty cases. That's a nice little addition. So in terms of the games, I don't think any of these have any value in terms of trade-in, but they're still cool additions. We'll start off with Army Men, Soldiers of Misfortune on the Wii. Looks like a fun little action game. I've heard about this game. I think it's like a murder mystery type thing. It'll be interesting to see how this turns out. We have Guilty Party on the Wii. I know some of these have some value. I don't know if this one does, but I figure it's worth a grab. We have Cabela's African Avengers on the PS3. A Wii staple that I did not have, so I figured I'd add it. Boogie on the Wii. You don't see complete in-box and decent condition original Xbox games that often that are not sports, and this was one of them, so I figured I'd snag it. SRS Street Racing Syndicate on the Xbox. I've been collecting wrestling games since I've gotten into wrestling, so figured I'd snag this one. We have SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 on the Wii. Would rather have the Xbox 360 version, but hey, I'll take the PS2 version, I guess. We have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End on the PS2. And last but certainly not least, we have Drawn to Life, The Next Chapter on the Wii. So a nice little collection of games. Most of them are being added to the collection, if not all of them. And I got some cases, which are useful. So I think I've got one more pawn shop left in me, and then we're going to go to GameStop. We're going to trade in everything and see what we come up with there. All right, so I wrapped up today by going back to this value pawn. This is the second value pawn. I didn't find much. Most of the games they had were overpriced or not worth my time, but I did grab a couple, and 2 of them are in the same case. I'm not going to open it right now, but I have 2 games. So we have Shadow Warrior on the Xbox One. I owned this game a long time ago. Oddly enough, that video still randomly gets comments on my main channel involving my playthrough of Shadow Warrior. I never beat it, but I have a physical copy again. I think I paid $7, so not terrible. And then inside this case is also a loose copy of Dynasty Warriors 6 Empires on the 360. Oddly enough, the binder, the famous binder that they used to have with a bunch of loose games, they now intelligently are selling the games in it that don't have cases. There wasn't much left, but there was a couple games, so I snagged the one good one that I found, and I found this one. So $10 total. Got 2 games. I think I'm in a good spot. I got a lot of stuff, but I still have one more trip to make, and that's the GameStop to trade in the stuff that I got to trade and see if we can come away with anything else or some credit towards the Switch 2. It all comes down to this. Time to trade in some stuff and see what we can pick up at GameStop. Let's go. All right, it is time for our final recap of this adventure, and we did pretty well. Again, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get footage from the thrift shop. I did try to film, but I guess my GoPro about died and didn't save any of the footage. So it's gone, but at least I did the recap, and we've got all the spoils. So we'll start off with AZ Thrift, because that's kind of the big heavy hitter for this particular journey. And I did want to mention this. So one of the things I did get from AZ Thrift were 3 loose cases. And I picked these out mostly because, well, of course, I guess what tends to happen at that thrift shop is any game that has value just gets stolen rather than, and they don't take the case, they just take the discs. Which is why like Minecraft, Left 4 Dead, Wii Party, all of those cases were empty. This one was also empty, but I needed the case. So this one, I'm not going to include the value in this total because I already had the game. But this turns my loose disc copy into a complete copy, which is pretty awesome. Midnight Club, Los Angeles, the complete edition. Here's the case. It took a little bit to peel that sticker off, which is why it's a little chunky there. But as you can see, it is a complete copy of the game now. So now I have a beautiful complete copy of Midnight Club, which is awesome. The other 2 cases were for Left 4 Dead 2 and for Wii Party. I would love to have gotten Wii Party because that's a game I've wanted for a while. It also has a lot of value. And then, of course, Left 4 Dead 2 always worth trading at GameStop. So I kept the cases. I took the cover art out of the actual cases and the manual out of Left 4 Dead and put them in a box. I have a little box that I store cover arts in. That way I can actually use the physical cases because they're not going to do me any good sitting in a box, whereas I have a bunch of loose games I can put into those cases. So I did that. Last week you saw I reused the Wii Party case for Samba de Amigo, and I used the Left 4 Dead case in this one, and that's for one of the loose games that we're going to talk about later. So let's start off with AZ Thrift. First game I picked up, I thought this had a little more value than it does, but, you know, it's probably alright. Probably a decent pickup. Cabela's African Adventures on the PS3. I think the PS4 version is the one you want of this, but I picked up the PS3 version. It's fine. I paid $5 for everything at the AZ Thrift, excluding the cases, which were free, by the way. So $5 for this. It is worth $8, so not terrible. Next up, I would love to find the 360 version of this, but I found the PS2 version in a really good condition, so I figured I might as well snag it. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End on the PS2. It is complete. It's in good shape. Always enjoy a nice movie game when they're halfway decent. Can't complain there. Paid $5. It is worth $7, so a slight bump up there. This is probably my favorite find of the entire thing, because it's not every day you find a very good condition original Xbox game in complete form. And this is a fairly uncommon game. It's not one you find all the time. But I figured I'd give it a snag, and it looks pretty good. And it's in good shape. It's very complete. We have Street Racing Syndicate on the Xbox. It's got everything. It's got the manual. Case is in really good shape. Pretty happy to snag this. Paid $5. It's worth $8. Then we get to our Wii games. We have Drawn to Life, the next chapter on the Wii. And if you've never played Drawn to Life, essentially it's a game where you draw. It started off on the DS. You drew like a body of a character, and that character would be your character for like a platformer. They made it on the Wii, which I'm sure it's a lot less responsive on the Wii than it is on the DS. But I figured it'd be kind of a fun game to play and try it out, so, you know, might as well give it a shot. Paid $5. It is worth $5, so we broke even on that one. Then we have SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. This one does not have the manual, but the disc is here. I am grabbing wrestling games whenever I can. A, because Corey likes them, and B, I've recently gotten into wrestling. So any of the older wrestling games are always kind of a fun thing to grab. And I figured this might be fun on the Wii, so figured I'd give it a shot. Paid $5. It is worth $7. Then we have a Wii classic, Boogie, on the Wii. It's a dance game. I've heard it's kind of fun. I don't know. It's a Wii game. It's an iconic Wii game that I did not own, so I figured I'd snag it. Paid $5. It's worth $5, so broke even again. Then we have Disney Guilty Party on the Wii. This is like a murder mystery type game where you play mini games and you have to try to figure out who done it. Sounds like an interesting concept. It's a rare case of Disney making an original game that is not tied to an IP. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, figured I'd give it a shot. Also, made by the same team who made Stubbs the Zombie. So kind of cool there. Anyway, I paid $5 for this, and it is worth $7. I think this one does not come with a manual. Oh no, it does. It does have a manual. All right, and then the last Wii game is Army Men: Soldiers of Misfortune. Looks like a third-person shooter. It's in the Army Men franchise. It is apparently Jordan Gonzalez's, but now it's mine. Complete. It's a later gen Wii game, I'm pretty sure. 2006. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe not. I thought this was like it looks like a later gen Wii game, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, paid $5. This one is worth $5. So we didn't do amazing on the Wii games, but we didn't expect to, so that's fine. Now let's get to our quick stop, which was the second value pawn. I only picked up 2 games. They didn't have a lot that was worth grabbing. Most of it was garbage, and most of it was overpriced. They had that loose binder, and I know I mentioned this in the recap, but way back in the day when I first started going to that value pawn, they had a binder full of loose games, and most of them didn't have cases. I tried to see if I can buy a bunch. They refused to sell them to me. I guess they changed their mind years later because that binder was just in the case and you could pick out loose games. I only found one that was worth grabbing, and this was the one I put in the Left 4 Dead case. Dynasty Warriors 6 Empires on the 360. Pretty decent game. It's got some scratches on it. I think it will work. I'm probably gonna have to resurface it, but it should be fine. I paid, I think, $3 for this. Yes, $3. It's worth $7, so not terrible. And then this game I owned. I think I still own a digital copy of it, but I wanted a physical copy and it was available, so I figured might as well. Shadow Warrior on the Xbox One. Paid $7 for this, which is a little more than I want, and it's worth $9, but you know, it's not terrible. All right, and then we're gonna get to our final stop, which is GameStop, and this is where we scored some pretty solid titles. So I went back to the same GameStop where I missed out on all those PS1 games to see if they still had any of the uncommon PS2. Most of them were gone. They still had a few, so I grabbed 3 PS2 games. I also grabbed a 360 game that I wanted, a PS3 game that I ordered already and didn't get. It got canceled, I think, or it got returned to sender. And a PS5 game that I've never heard of that sounds interesting. So I think these were pretty good pickups. Oh yes, before we go over the pickups though, let's talk about the trade-in. So I have my receipt right here. I traded in a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Tekken 7, the Killzone Trilogy, Ark Survival Evolved, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So for all those games, I paid a grand total of $35, which is kind of insane when you consider what I got. And I believe most of that was from Mario Kart. Yeah, because Miles Morales was $2, Modern Warfare was free, Modern Warfare 3 was $4, Horizon was $4, Ark was $4, Killzone was $2, and then Tekken was $4. So yeah, I paid $15, and then $20 of that was for Mario Kart. And I ended up getting $110.50 in trading credit, which is pretty darn good. So what did I get with that trading credit? Well, here it is. We'll start off. Test Drive Unlimited 2 on the Xbox 360. The original Test Drive Unlimited is a really solid racing game. They actually rebooted it recently, and apparently the current version, which is called Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, is terrible. But this one was good, so I figured I'd snag it on the 360. Paid credit for this, and it is worth $18, so pretty happy there. Next game up is Hot Shots Tennis on the PS4 or PS2. Sorry, I have Hot Shots Golf on the PS3. I've never played Hot Shots Tennis. They haven't made another Hot Shots Tennis, so figured I'd pick it up. An arcadey tennis game on the PS2, probably worth a grab. I paid 6 in credit, and that was worth 5, so a little bit of a loss there. It's not the end of the world. I'm not too upset. Now we got our more valuable PS2 games, and again, I picked these up mostly because A, they're uncommon, and B, they're super complete and very, very good condition. Well, this one is at least. The other one, not complete, but still uncommon and very good condition. We have Legaia 2 Duel Saga on the PS2. This was a very early PS2 action-adventure game. Came out in 2002, so yeah. And it has like martial arts fighting. It looks kind of like a fighting game combined with an RPG. It sounds pretty cool. I figured I'd give it a shot, especially because it's an uncommon game. Paid credit for this, and it is worth $24, so pretty good value there. The next one is Galarian's Ash on the PS2. This one is not complete, but it does come in a blockbuster case, so that's kind of cool. But it has the original cover art. The disc is in pristine condition. Sci-fi action-adventure game. Looks pretty cool. They advertise it has over 60 minutes of high-quality CG cutscenes, which is a lot for a 2002 era PS2 game. I paid credit. This is worth $35. Again, good values there. This is a game I've wanted for a bit because the original Xbox, PS2, GameCube Prince of Persia trilogy is very good. However, the only way to play them on a modern or close to modern platform is on the PS3 with this, and that is the Prince of Persia trilogy on the PS3. Because towards the end of its life, PS3 got a lot of really nice collections, and this is one that is exclusive to PS3. I don't know why they haven't re-released these games on current platforms. They really should. They include Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and Two Thrones. I ordered it a while ago on the GameStop website, and I never got it because it got returned to sender for some reason. But now I have it, and it's in really good, perfect, complete form. Paid credit for this, and it is worth $33. And last but certainly not least, and I did have to pay a little bit out of pocket for this. I think all in all, I paid $7 out of pocket for all these GameStop games. And this was the main reason why, and I wanted to get this, A, because it's a game I've never heard of, B, it looks cool, and C, I got an additional 20% credit for the stuff I traded in, so I figured it was worth a snag. We have Sunnyside on the PS5. It looks like Stardew Valley, but in like Japan, much more higher quality visuals, kind of open worldy. It sounds cool. And I figured I would give it a shot to see how it turned out. So I'm always down to try games I've never heard of before, especially on current platforms, because you never know what's going to be rare and what's not, and I have a feeling this one might be. So I paid credit for this plus $7 out of pocket, and this one is worth $40 because it apparently recently came out. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our game hunting run, at least for now. I hope you enjoyed the last few episodes. We got a lot of games, a lot of stuff added to the collection. It was a good run. Very happy with it. I don't know how often I'm going to be doing massive runs like that. I do want to start doing them more frequently because A, I can, and B, I'm going to be starting a series, and it's funny because I originally intended to start it this week, but ended up using all of my GameStop credit, so I didn't. But I do want to start a series where my goal is to spend the least amount of money possible out of pocket to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. So that will start at some point, probably when I don't have a ton of like stuff I want to pick up at GameStop. I'll just keep the credit. But yeah, that's kind of a goal. But yeah, either way, we had a big week. Pretty exciting. So that's going to do it. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, that way you know when new videos drop, and I will see you on the next episode of The Bargain Game Hunter. Bye-bye.